too, but they're on the chat. Is that right?
Yeah, my name is Fumi. Hello,
Wait a minute. Let
Fumi.
me fix the audio here. I don't know why he's doing this.
Yeah, Elma, everyone here is absolutely in the group. Hello, everyone. Hello, ladies. Good evening. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I hope
Fun.
you can
Happy
hear me.
Monday indeed.
I'm going to
Yeah.
ask everyone to please go on mute.
Sure.
Thank you. And I hope you can hear me because I've got my window, I've got the door behind me open because it's a really lovely summer day. And so I'm not in my office, I'm in the dining room. And I've got the window open behind me, the door, so I can get some summer breeze. But the challenge with that is I can hear, I don't know if you can, but I can hear a garden being mowed.
We can hear you clearly, very clearly. There's no interference.
Perfect. The problem with where I live is the gardeners all tend to take it in synchronization. As one is finishing, another is starting. So there's always some garden being mowed, and there's always noise, but we don't mind because it means that there's life happening around us. So good evening, hello, welcome. Nice to see your beautiful faces. So let me start by saying that today we're going to be together for about 60 to 90 minutes, and this is really a masterclass on my tips, my practices, my learnings, my experiences on hosting live events. So before we get started, is there anyone here who has hosted a live event or who is about to host a live event? No, but I take it that you're all interested in hosting them at some point.
And do you consider a live event like a book signing?
So we're going to get to that, and the answer is absolutely yes.
Okay, I should be having one. I don't know when, but fairly soon, I guess.
Great.
All right.
And
I've hosted live events in the past.
You have hosted them, Patricia. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So let me start by saying that this is by far the most common question I get in my DM. And I think it's because since June 20, I know it's because since June 2022 and now, so exactly a year, I've hosted 6 live events. One was an international retreat in Dubai, which 2 of you were on. Patricia and Irma were on. One was a co-hosted event in New York with my friend Denise Nicholson, and 4 UK events, and the 5th will be held in, I don't know, 2.5 weeks, whatever. So that's by far the most common question I get in my DM. So I thought rather than answer people piecemeal, I'll create this event, do a masterclass, and then when people ask me questions, I can I'll probably put this on YouTube and simply point them to the direction of this, and they can go and help themselves. Hey, Alina. Hey, Miss Amina, when you join. Hello, welcome. And so we're started. So as usual, we're in the spa. And when we come to the spa, we create a space where we have no judgment, no repercussions. What happens at the spa stays at the spa, and unconditional love. So can I get a show of hands that we are all in agreement with that? Thank you. Thank you. So why did I create this event? I've shared a little bit about that. It's my most frequent question in my DM, by far. People asking me to share. You're fine, Alina. Welcome. Life happens. People asking me sometimes direct, specific questions to say, how did you do this? What did you do when this happened? But a lot of them are simply say to me, can you give me any tips? And I'm more than happy to share my tips, my tools. Yes, Amina is from TIR. Hi, Amina. My tips, my tools, my practices. So I think the first thing to do would be we have another TIR person who's literally just about to join as well, Irma. So for anyone who doesn't know, Irma, Amina, and I, and Shirley Danzy, who's about to join. Hi, Shirley. We're all in Les Brown's program, and then we all went on to do TIR. Can everybody please go on mute so that there is as little interference as possible? I can hear the lawnmower behind me. So, but if you can't hear it, then that's perfect. So we're here today to talk specifically about live events. What are live events? There are 3 different types of live events, broadly speaking. In the context that we use the phrase live events, there are 3 different types of live events. We have live, beg your pardon, there's somebody else trying to join. We have live in person. So a retreat is a live in-person event. You're live and you're in person. We have live virtual. Hashtag right here is a live virtual. We're all live, but it's virtual. And we have hybrid events. Hybrid events are becoming increasingly more popular. Hybrid is where you have both. You have roomers and you have what they call roomers and zoomers. So the people in the actual room, physically in the room, and they're called roomers. And in the same room would be a screen with people who are joining virtually, zoomers. I've never held one of those. I have been told by my coach that they are the most lucrative to have. And I will share my thoughts on why. They're the most lucrative to have because you can basically get more people. When you have when you're in a physical space, there's a physical limit to the number of people you can have in the room. When you do a virtual event, you can have as many people as your Zoom capacity will allow you to have. When you have both, then you get the best of both worlds. Typically, well, not typically, the challenge with that is also the biggest opportunity, which is to make the people on Zoom, the Zoomers, feel that they're in the room with you. It's not to have them feel that they are kind of like an afterthought. They're just watching you have a good time, but to bring them into the room like they're physically with you. And if it's done very well, it can be very lucrative, and it can be a great experience for the people in the room and the people not in the room. Virtual is, as I say, is what we're doing here. So think about an Instagram live, a Facebook live, a webinar, a masterclass, a book launch like you'll be doing, Irma, but maybe you'll be doing it on Zoom. Those are all examples of virtual live events. Brunches, workshops, conferences, in-person conferences, seminars, summits, retreats are all examples of live events. In general, live events, because of access to you and because of the space you're typically going to be hiring, and we're going to talk about this in a lot more detail, because of the space you'll be hiring and all the stuff that has to happen both in front of and behind the scenes, live in-person events are typically come at a higher investment premium. Basically, they charge more, they cost more, obviously, than a Zoom. But a lot of people like live in-person events. Let me know what you think. Who here really likes live in-person? As in, that is their favorite live in person. Live in person. Thank you. Nisha, Alina, Irma, Fumi. I think just about Ade, Amina, I see your raised hand. Thank you. Just about all of us. Me personally, I love live in person. There's nothing, especially after 2020 and 2021. For me, there's nothing that beats physically touching somebody, giving somebody a hug. To me, there's nothing that beats that. But I guess never say never. We should all be open. And if hybrid events are the way forward, then who are we to say that we're not going to get involved? So yeah, those are the first three types of events. It's good to clarify. So for the purpose of today, though, I'm not going to talk about hybrid events any more than I have already. I am not going to talk about live virtual, although a lot of what I say could apply to live virtual. Today's class is really about live in-person events. So we're talking workshops, brunches. Did you know that you can host a 2-hour brunch? And that's a live in-person event. And you can do some training in that session. You can do some coaching in that session. You can do some transformative work in that session for 2.5 hours in a brunch session, half-day workshop, full-day workshop, a masterclass, a webinar. You can host them in a church hall, in a hotel, like I typically do. And you can have them, they can be one day, they can be multi-day. And as I say, they can be quite lucrative. So I want to share my screen really quickly. These are the only 2 slides I am going to share. I do want to share this. Hold on. Where are we? Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah.
We can see it.
And can you see the big screen?
2 queens.
Good, 2 queens. That's what I want you to see. But before we see 2 queens, so this is an example of a live virtual interview on Les Brown's Facebook page. That's it, interview on Les Brown's Facebook page, live virtual. And 2 queens, as Alina says, on the left is actually Lisa's in-person event, in-person retreat. I know that Fumi will be attending one in a few weeks. This one was held in the Bahamas in 2021. It was called Dynamic Women's Retreat. This retreat has been retired and been folded into the one that Fumi will be attending. But this is it. This was a 6-day retreat in live in person. And then the picture on the right was Lisa as keynote speaker to my very first ever event, which was a virtual event. And I was literally in the next room. I was in my office and she was wherever she was and everybody was wherever they were. I think you were there as well, Irma, I think. I'm not sure if Dr. Shirley was there, Author Shirley, but I know you were.
Yes, I was.
Thank you. And so this is it. So I'm going to stop sharing. I think that's all I wanted to share with you. Bear with me. Let me get myself back together again. I've lost myself. By the way, I am in my dining room as we speak. I'm not in my usual place. So because of the weather, I wanted to enjoy the evening summer breeze. So my lighting is not great. Forgive me. I may not be as professional looking as you may have gotten used to me being, but this is real life. I'm literally at my dining table and I'm enjoying myself. So we move. I'll be hosting, if anybody wants to know about, because I know Ade, you asked a question about how to host a masterclass. A masterclass is an example of a live event. It could be virtual, it could be in person. I'll be hosting a masterclass like this on how to host masterclasses specifically, so basically webinars in the coming weeks, and I'll share with you when that happens. But let's talk in more detail about live in-person events and the kind of things you need to look out for as you think about hosting yours, planning yours. I'm going to speak in about two different categories, because I think there are 2 different categories when we talk about live in-person events. For the rest of this class, we're talking about live in-person events. If they apply to live virtual, then please use them. But everything I say from here will be specific to live in-person events. To me, there are 2 main areas that you need to focus on. 2 main areas that we need to focus on. One is what I call the event, and the other is what I call the experience.
What was it? What was the first one?
The event.
Event, thank you.
The event, yes. And the second is the experience. They're both very important. The event is focused on the deliverables, the tangibles. So things like, where will your event be held? By the way, if you haven't got pen and paper, I invite you to get some now, because you will need them. I'm not sharing any more slides. I'm literally going to be speaking, so please take notes. Happy to come back and answer questions. Stop me if you don't understand anything, if I speak too quickly, but I'm not sharing any more slides. I'm literally just speaking to you now. So the event and the experience. Let's talk about the event. The event is the tangibles, things like, where will my event be held? How long will it be for? What kind of room do I need? How do I want the room set up? What will be the deliverables of the event? To be honest, the most important question about the event I haven't even said, and that is, why? Why am I even holding the event? Why do you want to hold an event? What is the event for? What are the objectives of the event? What are the aims of the event? And who is the event for? Who is the event for? And no, the answer to that question is not everybody. No, the event is not for everybody. Who will get the most value from your event? That should actually be your starting point. Who is this event for? And then why? Why being the promise? What is the promise of your event? What will people walk away with? The reason your promise is so important is that that is how you will market your event. So it's almost like starting at the end. You start at the end. What is the purpose of the event? What is the promise of the event? What are people going to walk away with? Because that is how you market the event. And that's how you then create the event, to be honest. Without knowing what the promise is, you can't even create the event. So who is it for? Why should they come? And I'm saying the same thing in different ways, but a lot of the time it's actually the same thing I'm saying. Who is it for? Why should they come? What will they get? What are the deliverables? What is the promise? And the promise is not about the timing. A lot of the time we focus on the process. It's not about, you're going to be with me from 10 till 6, and then we're going to work on your mindset, and we're going to then go out into a breakout room, and then we're going to have breaks, and we're going to talk about my 6-part framework. So what? So what? What am I walking away with? How will my life be different as a result of attending your event? So that's the promise. That's the promise. And a good way to get to that is to, please don't get me wrong, the process, the timings, all that stuff is, we need that. I'm not knocking that. But I'm saying your marketing should be based, your marketing and your promise should be based around the so what. The so what, rather than the task, the so what. What are the deliverables? What kind of room will you need? What size room will you need? How many people will be at this event? Obviously, you may not know the exact answer, but approximately how many people? A dozen people, 50 people, 100 people, all those things you need to know. How many speakers will there be? What's the room setup? The room setup is absolutely crucial to ensure that you can reach everybody in the room. The people in front of you, the people right at the back of the room. This is all part of the event. Will you have photography? Will you have videography? What will the audio be like? Will you need a mic? Will you need mics for the people who will be speaking if you're going to have people get up and speak? What time will the event be held? Actually, even what time of the year will the event be held? Because all this will affect how you put together the event. So for example, you won't have an outdoor event on the 5th of January in the UK without ensuring that you have a marquee, you have enough lighting, you have the outdoor heaters, that sort of thing, right? You wouldn't have an event in the autumn without ensuring that you have a marquee, because you're pretty much guaranteed it's going to rain. So it's that sort of thing. You need to ensure that everything is looked after and well thought through. So identify what kind of event is most suitable to deliver the transformation that you're to deliver the transformation that you will be delivering. And consider that in your event creation. Know your numbers. Budget. Know your numbers. Typically, the smaller the event, the higher the price point. The smaller the event, the higher the price point. Why? Access to you. Why? Community. Why? Connection. Why? Connectivity. If you have a room with 1,000 people, you're not likely to charge the same thing as if you have a room with 6 people. It just doesn't carry the same price point. Typically, that's not a blanket statement. Typically. Why? Because a room with 1,000 people, there will not be the same, the experience is different than with a smaller room, which is why retreats cost a lot more than conferences. Apart from the fact that they are for longer days, they simply cost more because they're generally smaller. Find the perfect location. When you find the perfect location and you hear the price, pick yourself off the floor and look for another location. I'll say that again. When you find the perfect location and you hear the price, pick yourself off the floor and go look for a location that suits your budget. Look, venues are not cheap. But then, to be fair, it depends on where you go and what you're looking for. If you go to a church hall, it's not going to cost the same as if you go to the Ritz. Fact.
I have a question.
Please.
Just if you go to a church hall
Yeah.
and you go into a hotel like you have your locations are absolutely beautiful, 5-star.
Thank you.
Does it somehow deliver the message differently?
Okay. That's a brilliant question, Alina. Thank you for asking that. I'm going to answer that question when we come to the second part, the experience part. If that's okay. Yeah. I'll answer. That's a brilliant question. So budget is a very important factor, obviously, in hosting your in-person event. Price point. In general, there are 3 broad price points. There's low, there's mid, there's high. In general, the more the people in the room, the lower, it may not be low, but the lower. I'm going to a conference. I'm going to a Tony Robbins conference in a few weeks. There are probably going to be about 3,000 people in the room. There's a ticket price that's £6,000, right? So obviously, it just completely throws into disrepute the statement I just made. So I'm not talking about the Tony Robbins of this world, right? His highest ticket, his premium ticket is £6,000 in a room that will have at least 3,000 people. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about at our level. In general, the smaller the room, the higher the price point because of access to you. Although what I've just said about Tony Robbins actually does actually equate to my point, because the reason that the 6K price tickets are that price is because you have access to Tony. So actually it makes my point. So in a room of 3,000 people, they have a handful of tickets that are $6,000. And those people with those tickets have access to Tony. Point made, right? That's what you're paying for. Fact. There are about 6 different price points, and the people at the back pay the least. The closer you are to the stage, the higher the price point. At the 6K mark, you get a private room with Tony Robbins and his team. So know your numbers, know your deliverables. What will your promise be? What will your offer be at the end of the retreat, or at the end of the event? What do I mean? The event is an experience that takes you somewhere, perhaps. If not, that's fine, but know that, identify that it's a one-off. We're doing this and that's the end of that. Or is this a path to another experience, another event, one-on-one coaching, a program, a course, whatever it is. If it's a book launch, for example, let's use Irma. If it's a book launch, you may think a book launch is a one-time event. No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Your book launch should be the front door to your group coaching program. It should be the front door to your next speaking gig. It should be front door to your next masterclass, to your retreat. I'm not talking of novels. I'm talking of authors like in this room who are personal development, self-development authors. So you, for example, for me, if you held an event, when you hold your book launch, it shouldn't be a one and done. It should literally be on the path leading people who want more of you onto something else. But we need to know that at the start, so we know what the next steps are. What are your next steps after this event?
Just quick question. Will I, so at the book launch, will I then say that?
Yes, you can. Yes, you do.
Okay.
You then invite people, you invite us to join you at blah, blah, blah. And blah, blah, blah may still be a free event. It may still be a free, maybe a masterclass, maybe something like this, but you're taking us on a journey. It's not a once and done. You don't do your book launch and that's the end of that. Oh, no. It's just the beginning, honey. Because there's some people in that room who will want more. Give them the opportunity to opt in or opt out.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So know your numbers, find your perfect location. Food. Food is another thing that adds to the budget. If you're doing obviously depending on the event will determine the food that you offer or not. If it's a conference, you don't have to offer food. I would advise that if you don't offer food, you host your conference in a location where people can go off in the break and get food. So like in central London, for example, host it in a place where there are lots of local eateries around it, where people can go off and you can say, come back in half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever, and come back fed if you're not feeding them. So don't host it in a remote place where there's no access to food and you don't give people food, because people will go and they will not come back. So either you give them food and then you can pretty much take them in there and lock the doors and say, no one's going in, no one's coming out, we're here. But then you've got to make sure that, you keep laughing. You've got to make sure that they're comfortable. Or if you don't give food, you don't give food, but you make sure they have access to food. If you do give food, what kind of food will you give? Well, obviously it depends on the kind of event that you're having. You could have breakfast. You could have seen Nisha, maybe not Nisha, sorry, Amina, Irma. We probably all see that Tanya hosts authors' breakfast meetings. So she does breakfast. You can do brunch. You can do lunch. You can do afternoon tea. You can do all of the above. You can do dinner. You can do multi-day. Entirely your choice. Entirely your choice. What kind of gifts will you be offering? Will you be offering gifts? And then what kind of gifts will you be offering? I'm going to pick up on gifts again in the second part of my presentation. But gifts are something that would sit in the event part of things, because gifts should be factored into your budget. And then finally, support. What kind of help will you need? Will you need, as we said before, videographer, photographer, an assistant, a volunteer or two? Volunteers are great, because then you are helping somebody to get some experience who wants the experience. You don't need to pay. They're giving you the service for free. In return for experience, you get help. So at Lisa's retreat that I just showed you the picture of, when I told Lisa at one of our coaching sessions that I will be hosting a retreat in Dubai, this was obviously before my retreat in Dubai, she said to me, how many of the ladies that were at my retreat are coming to support you in Dubai? That was her main question. She wasn't interested in anything else. How many of them are coming to support you? And I said, none. And she said, it's too late now. Next time, take people from my campus to support you, because you know that they know what good looks like. You don't need to train them. You don't need to tell them what to do. They'll do it. And then you go and support them at their retreat. So this is completely unrelated to this, but I do want to touch on it now. This is why community is so great, because we can support each other. Right, that's the point of community. You come to my retreats and serve me, I come to your retreat and serve you, or workshop or whatever. Anyhow, I wanted to just mention that the value of community cannot and should not ever be understated. I said this was the final piece, and I'm going to stop in a second to take questions. But before I do, I realize that there is more. There's a piece I didn't address, which is technology. Technology is important. What technology will you need? And who will provide it? Will you need audiovisual? If you get audiovisual from the venue, i.e. hotel, it will add to the cost. Audiovisual at hotels doesn't come cheap. But here's the catch. You can't get audiovisual support at a hotel that's not provided by the hotel. They won't let your people come in and touch their electrics, because the electrics are different to any electrics anywhere else in the world. So you can't touch theirs in case you blow things up. So you have to buy audiovisual from the hotel. If you do it in a church hall, and I keep using church hall just because I started, I'll finish using church halls as examples, then obviously you don't need that. But if you do an event in a venue, just in a hotel, be mindful that there are other costs, including food, by the way. Your food has to come from the hotel. Your drinks have to come from the hotel. This all adds to your costs. But it is what it is. I'm going to stop for a second. Questions, comments, thoughts?
Annie, I have a question, and I may have missed this because I'm having there's some issue happening with my family. Do you set a budget at the beginning?
Good question. Yes, you do. You should set a budget at the beginning. Your budget will depend on whether it is, again, what kind of event you're having, the duration of the event, and whether it's one day or multi-day. So I'll tell you the way I do it. This is not to say it's the only way to do it, but this is the way I do it. I have a budget, and I throw everything into that budget. Everything. I throw my dream workshop into that budget. When I look at the number, I now go back and say what doesn't belong here, because it's not doable. I obviously, first of all, divide the number by the number of participants I expect. You also need to factor you as a participant, and you as a how do I put this? You as a coach. So factor in your price, your income. So I'll give you an example. You have a budget of your budget is £1,000 for the entire event, right? How much do you want to take away from that event? If you said to me, I want to take away £200, right? So you can't afford to spend more than £800. Well, my gifts are going to cost £100, so I can't afford to spend more than £700. Well, my assistant will cost £200, so I can't afford to spend more than £500. Does that make sense? And that will then give you the budget for your actual event. Does that help, Patricia?
Yeah, it does help. But I'm guessing that you can't do a budget without doing your homework first. So you must
can't
get all the prices and all that.
You can't do your first event without doing your homework first. Your subsequent events will have a template that you can follow.
Yeah.
But the very first one, but I'm going to be honest with you, the very first one is there's also a lot of, what does this mean? I think it's going to be this. I think it's going to be this. You can't get it right the first time. And I beg you, let me rephrase that. You're not likely to get it right the first time. And I beg you to give yourself grace. I beg you to give yourself grace. Another thing you will be wise to do is to see how other people host their events and say, I want to add this, I want to take this out. I really like the way she did that. I don't like the way she did that, and make it yours. Lisa's retreat, I'm going to be honest, was a template for my retreat. But then there's no reason to deny that. That's why we're all there. We're all there not just as retreat participants, but also as retreat leaders. We're all there to see a template. There are lots of things that Lisa did that I'm like, I don't really want that. Lots of things that she didn't do that I was like, I want that because that's me. So you put your own mark on things, but you have a template to then work to at least start with. The numbers will move, will evolve, and will fall into place. Now, you may say, using the example we just did, you may say, my fee, my income that I want to walk away with from this event is £200. Somebody else will say, no, I want £400. And there's no right and there's no wrong. The longer you've been doing it, the higher your fee should be. And I guess that makes sense, right? Because you now start to become an expert. So the longer you do it, the higher income that you will make from the event. And also the more you will, there are lots of things, I'm going to be honest with you, there are lots of, because when I did my retreat, I was still being executive coached by Lisa Nichols. There are lots of things I had in my retreat, and Lisa just put a line across it. Not going to happen, not going to happen, not going to happen, not going to happen, not going to happen. And when I got home, I put them right back on. They're going to happen because it's my event. It's my retreat. Yeah. So make it yours is the point I'm making. But though I'm not knocking Lisa, she had a point. She had a point because the things that I put back were the things that took my event over budget. So she had a point. But because it was my first retreat, I went in with my heart, not my head. She's my coach. She did the right thing. She said, take your heart out of the damn way and go in with your head. What's wrong with you? So she wasn't doing anything wrong. I think I've answered that question. I think we've knocked that one on the head. Thank you for that question. I want to talk about the agenda. And this is a really, really, really crucial point. Have an agenda. but stay fluid and flexible. Life happens. Life happens. Have an agenda, stay fluid and flexible. With your agenda, go deep rather than wide. Go deep rather than wide. Don't teach everything you know, which is a tendency, we have a tendency to do, especially when we're first starting out. Pick one topic and go deep. And allow people the opportunity to process. Which is why just now I said, I'm going to stop and take questions. That was giving you the opportunity to process. Don't fire hose people. Exercise bite-sized pieces with lots of processing time. Sometimes we have a tendency to think that we're not giving enough, when actually that's exactly what people need. Bite size, give me time to process. Okay, I'm going to stop and I'm going to ask for feedback, comments, thoughts, questions before we move on to the next part. I'm giving you time to process. Hashtag. Questions, thoughts, shares?
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about budget.
Mm-hmm.
What about pricing?
What's about
Is there a
pricing?
form? Yes, obviously, because you obviously want whatever you're presenting.
Yeah.
You want to be able to recoup some of the money of what you're budgeting for.
Yeah.
So is there a formula to doing that, or you just?
There are several different formulas. You can work with all of the above. You can work with some. You can create your own. The first one is, well, they're not different formulas. They're just different reference points. The first one is find people who are doing something similar and check out how much they are charging. So basically, scope out the competition. Now, we know that there really isn't any competition because you are unique and you are you, and there's no one like you. We know this, right? We know this. But as much as we can, just find out what's going on in the world. You have no idea. You have no idea how many courses I have taken part in just so that I can see the way people are doing this thing. You have no idea. I showed Alina, the other day Alina came to my house, I showed her a sheet of all the programs I've taken part in. At least half of them were just to go and find out what's going on. What can I take away from here? So scope out the competition, right? Oftentimes we don't realize that you need to invest, not just to learn, but also research. It's research, right? I'm not saying I'm going to learn anything, but there's also research. Lisa's retreat was 50% research, right? Because I didn't want to do the retreats. Where best to go than to go and find out how the pro does it. Hello. So answer your question for me. First is just find out what the other people in the industry charge. Second is what can my market cope with? What can my market cope with? Your market today may not be your market tomorrow. You're starting out, so you may need to adjust your market. But what can my market cope with? And the third is to actually do the actual numbers, as in what I said to Patricia. My total budget is £1,000. I want to take away 20% of that, £200. Then start to factor in all your other costs, knowing that your £200 is sacred, is held. And you must, under no circumstances, walk away with a penny less than your £200. I will share with you that when you are, when we've been doing this thing, when we're really like 20, 30 years in, the expected profit margin could be as high as 60%. So you walk away with 60% of your total of the total investment. The reality at this stage is nowhere near that, but that is what you should be working to, 60%. 60%. Yeah. If you're in the 60% zone, you're doing well. If you're higher, you're doing very well. It's not impossible to walk away with 70%. I would say start with looking to walk away with 70%. 70% would be your target, your reach. Oh no, 70% would be your goal. But if you walked away with 50, you wouldn't do too badly. If you walked away with 30, you would take it. If you walked away with 0 for the first few, you're still not doing badly. Give yourself some grace. You're on the journey. Alina.
I've got a question, please.
Yes, thank you.
You mentioned market, identify your market.
Yes.
In terms of budget, you said, what can our market cope with? So for
Yes.
that, we need to identify our market. How do you go about that as a coach?
Okay. So that is, you remember we said we start off with who is this event for?
Mm-hmm.
That's your
That's what
market.
you said.
That's your market. Who is this event for? So if I am hosting an event for university students, I can't expect them to be able to afford the same as a mid-career professional, for example. Right? If you're hosting an event in the city for bankers, the price that you would command will be very different to if you're hosting an event for teachers. That's not to say it's better or worse. It's just different. It's just different.
Okay.
Right. So if
So
my
you've got to be
market,
clear on that.
that is the starting point. That even before you
So
talk about
who is your market?
who is the event for? If you're hosting an event for teachers, you cannot price them the same way you price an investment banker. Mind you, we should also be careful, because if it goes the other way around, you can also put people off by having your price too low. Because if I think in my head, for an event like that, I expect to pay £1,000, and you say to me it's 200, I will walk away because I'm thinking, nah, it can't be any good. So it's not a case of, well, I'm going to make it cheap to attract them. If you make it too cheap, you're actually going to disattract them, because they're going to think it can't be any good, because that's not what I expect to pay for this. Does that make sense, Sabina?
Yeah, it does. It does. Thank you.
Before we move on to experience, anything else? Questions? Ade, you're off screen. I hope you're well. Nisha, can't see your face today, my beautiful lady. I hope you're well.
here.
Hey, Nisha, there you are. Arthur Shirley Danzy. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, my darling. How are you?
Very well, doing very well.
Nice to see your face.
You as well.
And Amina, I hope you're well. Just checking in. No pressure. You don't have to turn your camera on, but I hope you're well. And I hope this is of some value to you. So we said that for live. Oh my God, I can see you. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Is that a boy or a girl, Nisha?
This is a girl. This is Mummy. This is my little girl's mum.
Oh, this is Mommy.
This is Mummy. Do you know what I really liked when you said add everything in, work on the number of attendees and then divide it?
Mhm.
That's a really good tip. Really
Yeah.
like that.
Thank you. Thank you, Nisha. Yeah. Work on the numbers and then divide it by the number of people. That is how you work out the investment per
Yeah.
person. And it's never
Yeah.
called a price, ladies. It's called an investment because that's what it is, an investment. It's
What
never
if you
called a price.
so what if you have two categories, like you have the general category and you also have like a VIP category? Of course the VIPs are going to get more because they are putting you having a higher price point for them.
Mhm.
So I guess you're going to have to do this twice depending on your ticket types.
So what you do is you have I think you start with your standard ticket price, and then you say, what can I give as an extra to then command a higher ticket price? I think that, well, first of all, that's a really great question. So let's look at it this way. Let's use the example that we just gave. You have a broad audience. You have quite a broad audience because the example I gave before was teachers versus investment bankers. If you have two very distinct categories like that, that's easy. But let's assume that you haven't got two distinct categories. You have a broad audience. You have an event that has 150 people. There'll be some teachers, maybe. There may even be some students. There may be some fresh graduates. There may be some investment bankers. And I don't want to keep picking on investment bankers, but I use them just as an example. Now, how do you then determine the price point? Have a standard price. Have a standard price that's affordable to your lowest common denominator. Right? So in this case, it would be students. No disrespect. It would be students. Let's say we say for students is £99. Lowest common denominator. Now, if you are, that's for the standard price. If you then add on something else, you can make it £199. What's that something else? That would be attractive to everybody. That even the students would be interested in buying, but maybe they simply can't afford it. What's that something else? Could it be, for example, a template, a cheat sheet, a workbook, a book, that sort of thing to take it up? And then you can add on another layer to that to say, so we have standard, then we have general, then we have VIP. What can I add to my VIP? Could that be a recording of one of my past masterclasses? VIP. That could then be $299 or $399, whatever. I don't know where we ended. Then we could have a VVIP. That could be $999. What could that have? That could have private dinner with me after the event or before the event. That way we're capturing everybody. So I'm going to give you an example. I have recently joined a global women's club. It's called Global Women's Club in the UK because I spent the last 2 years doing a whole bunch of training. And where I want to see myself next is not so much in class training, it's more in community, building my network, growing with people who are on the same journey. So I recently joined this Global Women's Club. And they're having a conference in a couple of weeks. And they had different price points for the conference. Of course, I didn't pull my finger out and do anything in time. I let it slide until when I tried to sign up, the VVIP tickets were all gone. You know that the minute I saw that the VVIP tickets were gone, that's when I decided I want a VVIP ticket because I don't want to miss out. Because human beings, we're like, why would I have that one? Why am I going to get a general when there's a VVIP? I want a VVIP ticket. So I reached out to them and said, I'm a new joiner to the club. I didn't sign up in time for the summit, but I'm coming. And I don't want a general ticket. I want a VVIP ticket. And I said, what can you do for a new joiner? And they turned around and said, for a new joiner, we can give you a VVIP ticket. What's the point I make? I wanted to be in the room, in the smaller inner room, with the people who are the head of this summit. And that's the way other people will want to be in the room with you. Give them a chance. But not everybody can. And for people who can't, they're happy with the standard tickets because they're still in the same space. And they've got something to build up to and to look forward to. Does that help, Nisha?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm loving this because I have an event that's coming up in September. So this is really good stuff.
I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear. And in about half an hour, I'm going to have my own. I don't have a dog, but my son's girlfriend's dog is coming to spend some time with me, and she'll be here. He'll be here in about half an hour. He's gonna be here with me for a week. I can't wait. Hey, I wish he was here. I'll put him on screen as well. You're making me. Oh, you've got two. Oh, okay, all right. You win. You win. You've got two. You win.
I saw him the last time you had him.
Yeah. He's coming back tonight. He'll be here in about half an hour. I'm so excited. Okay, so that's all about the event. Those are the tangibles. And then now we come to the experience. Now, the experience is critical. Why? Because the experience is all about how you want people to feel. How do you want people to feel as a result of attending your event? What do you want me to walk away with? What should I be saying? What will I tell people about you? How will I sleep that night? That's all about the experience. Now, in case you haven't guessed, I'm an experience girl. I am all about the experience. The event is absolutely crucial. But if we get the experience wrong, the event will be considered or could be considered to be a flop because of the experience. Now, Alina, you asked a very good question. What is the difference between hosting an event in a church hall, for example, versus hosting an event in a hotel, a nice hotel? I think it's all about the experience. Now, am I going to get the same content? You know the answer is yes. Am I going to be in the same room as everybody else? You know the answer is yes. I think the question which is the answer, or the answer which is also a question, is how do people who fly first class feel as opposed to people who fly economy? We will all go to the same destination. It's the experience. It's the experience.
So it will enhance our message. It will make
It
it
enhances your message emotionally, not
emotionally.
tangibly. But let's be careful. Not everybody will value the experience, which is back to know your market. Back to know your market. Know your market.
It's all linked.
It's all linked. It's all linked. It's all linked. It's all linked. 2 weeks ago, I went to a wedding in Italy. I booked the flights for me and my husband. My son, who's 28, he booked his own flights. Right? He doesn't live at home. He's got his own flight. He booked his own flights. We get to Italy. I happened to find a 2-bedroom apartment. So he stayed with us at the apartment, but he sorted out his own flights. He turned up the day after we got there, and that was it. He had his own room in the apartment that I booked. And so I said to him, why did you have to go to Stansted? And he said, because I came Ryanair. So I'm like, Ryanair? He says, Mom, I don't do BA like your dad. I'm a Ryanair kind of guy. He's 28. He's a Ryanair kind of guy. Right? Know your market. That's know your market. Because he's saying for the same price that you and dad spent, I spent a fraction of that, and I'm here with you in Lake Como. What's the problem?
You sound like my
No shame, no shame. Either way, know your market. Ryanair targets people like him. They don't target me. British Airways targets people like me. Know your market. Sorry for our non UK dwellers. British Airways is I guess the closest thing we have to a national airline in the UK, and Ryanair it started as a budget airline, and I think it probably still is, right? So know your market. Young people who are happy to hop on with no hand baggage, and they're happy with Ryanair. But old fuddy duddies like me, I want British Airways. Take me to British Airways ASAP. Know your market, and there's no shame either way. There's no shame either way. So
You're paying the price for the British Airways, so there's no shame.
Well, you pay
There's
the
no
price for
shame,
British
it's the
Airways, but here's the thing, but it's a price that he's not willing to pay because he doesn't think that what he gets is worth the price. That's the point. That's actually the point. He doesn't see the value in paying extra for what British Airways offers, because to him that's not important. Right? Yeah. That's why we have to know our market. Everything comes down to who is your audience. Who are you looking to attract? Who is your audience? But that's also why we don't undercut ourselves because we're trying to be cheap. If your audience don't expect you to be cheap, then for God's sake, don't think you need to undercut yourself. Go and find your right audience. If people say they can't afford you, there's no shame. You're not for me. There's no shame.
How do you find your audience?
How do you find your audience? Irma, beautiful question. When you go to bed at night, who do you want to have served? Is that simple? For me, anyway. Who do I want to have served?
Okay, that's a great question. But I don't know much about marketing. So marketing
Forget
wise,
marketing. No, Irma. So I'm sorry. I'm going to stop you there. Not because I'm being rude. This is actually for everybody. Please let us refrain. It's all mindset. Forget the word marketing. If you say I don't like marketing, I don't know marketing, you're going to tell yourself you don't know marketing. Forget marketing. Who does Irma feel passionate about serving? Who is that person? You don't have to answer. Think about it, Irma.
And I guess, Ella, this goes back to my coaching with you and having an avatar.
Yes.
Because as you're talking and you're saying, who do I want to serve? Obviously, my niche is marriage, right? Now, if I'm dealing with young people who are married, then their price point might be different from somebody who's more established. So I guess you have to draw an avatar of some sort, and then
you have to have an avatar. So Irma, if you want me to do a masterclass on that, ask and I'll do it. I really want to serve my community. Seriously, ladies, I'm taking this seriously. This is no money involved. This is just, I want to share what I know with you. We're all growing together, right? If you want that as a masterclass, I will happily do it. But I'm going to beg you in the meantime, forget I don't know marketing, I don't know sales, I don't know. That's all noise because marketing is just a word.
No, I know, but how do you attract your market?
You
how do
first have to know who you're looking to attract. You can't attract me if you don't even know who I am.
No, that's true.
Who are you looking to? I'll tell you something. Typically, not for all of us, but typically the person you're looking to attract is you before you started to go through your transformation. That's who you're looking to attract, typically.
Yeah,
Typically,
that makes sense.
yeah. Because what we're doing, a lot of us, thank you, Nisha, what we're doing, a lot of us, is simply putting our hands back to reach out to people who are walking the same journey, but maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 steps behind us. So you can't attract me if you don't even know who I am. Nisha, was that a hand raised to ask a question?
No, I just think you're on fire right now because that is absolutely correct. You're on fire.
Nisha, I've been in training for 3 years, girl. If I'm not on fire yet, there's a problem. But thank you, thank you. So the experience is all about what do you want people to feel, or rather, how do you want people to feel as a result of attending your event? So this is more about the intangibles, things like, if you're doing transformation work, and I want to say now, in case anyone says, I don't know what I'm doing, we're all doing transformation work. For me, you are 100% doing transformation work. Alina, you are 100% transformation worker. Ade, so are you. Don't tell me I don't know what I'm doing. No, you're doing transformation work, right? So it's simple things like having tissues in the room. I don't know if you've ever noticed at my events, there are tissues everywhere because they're likely to be tears. So it's just thinking around the little things. It's things like having a clock at the back of the room to keep you and everybody else on track. It's things like having water, especially if the weather is warm. It's things like having music. It's things like making sure the room temperature is neither too hot nor too cold. So it's the how would it feel stuff. How would it feel? And a good way to answer that question is, what kind of event do I want to attend? What kind of event do I want to attend? And that question actually answers Alina's question. I don't want to attend an event in a church hall, so I don't do my events in church halls. There's nothing wrong with church halls. I'm just past that stage in my life because I'm no longer 35 years old when all I did was go to church halls for weddings and parties. There's a point in your life you do that and there's nothing wrong with it. My child's christening was held in a church hall. I was 30 years old. I'm 58. I don't think so. I don't think so. And who I'm looking to attract is me. No shade. Who are you looking to attract, and what kind of event would you like to attend? The final thing I want to say may come as a shock. It shouldn't do. It shouldn't do. The final thing I want to say is, when you speak, when you share part of the experience, for God's sake, please tell stories. I have told you at least 5 stories tonight, at least. Speak in stories. Why? Stories are part of the experience. People will never remember your 3rd bullet point, your 7th bullet point, or your 10th slide. They will remember your stories. They will remember your stories. Stories are part of the experience. For the ladies who were at Luton Who, i.e. Alina and Ade, for the ladies who were at the last Ziano Mind Spa event at Luton Who, we had a special guest who joined us virtually in the room, none other than Mr. Leslie Calvin Brown. And I think you can testify that he told as many stories as he gave us content. Story, content, story, content, story, content. Am I right or am I right? Stories. Speaking stories.
Don't make a point without a story, and don't tell a story without a point.
Oh. There you go. There you go. Speaking stories. That is all part of the experience, and that's how you will be remembered.
So, sorry, Anna, sorry, I wanted to ask you a question. You know, can you hear me?
Absolutely, I'm listening to you, my darling.
Oh, yeah. You know, when you're talking about avatar, I know that since I've started this journey, I know my avatar's changed. Like it's changed like like whatever. But I'm not allowing that to bother me anyway, because I'm kind of like, it's clarity. It's just becoming clearer and clearer as I'm doing it. So now eventually my avatar is, I know that it's a bit lower than me, but is a 35-year-old woman, which is kind of like much younger than I am. But because of the things I've been through, it's kind of like I've combined them together. Like, because like I'm looking for women like that are like lone parents, and that may have been like that are single, mature but single. So that's my avatar. Does that make sense?
Okay, let me thank you for that question, Ade. Let me start by saying, first of all, seriously, huge congratulations to you, Ade. I've seen your post on Instagram, on Facebook. I've seen you do a lot more videos. I've seen you come alive. And I just want to congratulate you and celebrate you, honestly, on your journey. You should be so proud of yourself. I am proud of you, my darling girl. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Now,
to answer your question specifically, your avatar is one person. No, first of all, your avatar, it's okay if your journey, your message, your avatar evolves. Please, that's called life. That's called you're living and you're breathing, right? Your avatar can evolve. Don't even start to give yourself stress about that. Your avatar is one person. She may have gone through all the stuff that you've gone through, but you need to find that one person. Let me tell you an exercise I did the other day. Find a picture of somebody who represents your avatar. You can go on Google and put in 35-year-old Black woman, if that's what she looks like, right? 35-year-old white woman, 35-year-old anything. And take a picture of a box standard person and literally write out her life. What is her name? How old is she? Where does she live? What does she do for a living? How much does she earn? Is she single? Is she married? Is she divorced? Is she dating? Does she have a boyfriend if she's single? Does she have a boyfriend if she's married? Why discriminate? She's shaking her head. She's like, no, she did not just say that. No, she did not just say that.
We've got Fumni here. If she's got a boyfriend, then she's married.
Hope not.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't. Oh, Jesus, please bless her, forgive her sins. No, seriously. Ade,
no, but there are people like that who want to hear, who need to hear from you. So for sure, yeah.
You see,
definitely.
You see,
and I do know people like that. So yeah.
Thank you for me.
That is life. Yeah.
I went to LA one time. The immigration guy said to me, "Are you here to see your boyfriend?" I beg your pardon, I'm married. He said, "I didn't ask you about marital status." I said, "Are you here to see your boyfriend?" I was like, okay. Fair enough. Anyway,
someone once said to me as well, sorry, just very quickly, I was in a bookshop and the guy said to me, and he started to talk to me, he said, "Are you married?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, are you happily married?" I was so surprised. I said, "Yes, I am. Thank you."
You for the offer, but yes, I am. So Ade, you can, your avatar can have as many of the experiences that you have gone through, because Ade, you are one person and you went through all those experiences. So of course she can. She's you. She's just you a few years younger. Right? She's you a few years younger. But here's the most important thing. She's been through those things, yes, but what does she want, Ade? What does she want? What is she going to bed at night praying for, crying about? What does she yearn for? What does she want?
How do you think that she's missed out in life? That she wants to like start rediscovering herself.
Listen, I was saving this for. I'm still going to show it to you when you come to my house in July. This is my book. It's a big, massive sketchbook. I'm not sure how it's huge. Everything about my avatar, her wants, her desires, her dreams. Alina's got one. Martin! You can see that she's my client. You can tell. You can tell.
Where did you get that book? Where did you get that book from?
Alina,
She's
over to
kind
you.
of, Alina is kind of you're kind of a clone, actually.
We call her my mini me.
We've done the same with the L'Occitane, isn't it? With the creams.
Yeah. It's yeah.
The book is from Hobbycraft.
Hobbycraft in Watford.
Mm.
There's one near me.
Got nice paper as well. So when
Got
you
nice
write,
writings.
yeah, it's got nice paper. So
You go to that book and it becomes the Bible of your business, if you like. It's your reference book. Everything that goes in here, you put in there. If I'm on a coaching call and my coach says something, thank you, Nisha, I write it down quickly on like regular notepad, but later on that evening, I'm going to transfer it into my book. It's my guiding reference book. So every time I put out a course, every time I put out a program, I go to that book. What does she want? And I have questions like, who is she? I know her. What does she want? What are her desires? What are her pain points? What would make her life better? What does she not even know about herself that I know about her?
it helps when you name her as well. You give her a name.
Absolutely. Give her a name and refer to her. Something else one of our coach taught me. Take that picture of her and put it on your screen. Put it on your screen. Every social media post you create, all the marketing copy for your programs, your courses, your masterclasses, you're looking at her. She's guiding you. Alina's is called Hannah. We both know that. That's how much we worked on her. She's Hannah. Mine's called Nikki. The only thing I haven't done is actually held her physical hand. But I see her, I talk to her, we talk daily, me and Nikki. Daily. When she cries, I cry. And I'm not suggesting.
So where do you find Nikki?
Where do I find Nikki?
I know how I found you. Yeah, or sometimes Nikki comes to you.
Sometimes, actually, Fumi, you laugh. Fumi,
yeah, well, I can.
Fumi, do you realize? Fumi, you probably don't realize how many similarities you and Nikki share. You have no idea.
No, I do know because we discussed it, you know. But yeah, no, I do. I know I'm your Nikki. I'm one of your Nickies.
You are, yeah.
So
yeah, and you found me.
Okay, fine. So I came to you. I found you, but but how would you find Nikki? So how will I find my avatar?
Very good. Patricia, were you about to answer? I thought you were doing. I thought you
I
were about to.
think she wanted to ask the same
it-
question.
this is what Irma is asking as well,
Okay,
and
okay.
I am asking. It's like,
Okay.
how do we get consistent clients,
Okay.
basically?
So the way to find Nikki is to be one way. There are many ways. Be active on social media. Be active on social media. Do not sleep on social media. Whether you like social media or not is actually not the point. Do not sleep on social media. Do you need to do all social media? I don't think you do, but you need to know where Nikki is. Where does Nikki live? And when I say live, where does she live on social media? Right? Where is Nikki? Where is Nikki? You can walk around the place saying, where's Nikki? And then I just told you that I joined a global women's club, a community.
I was about to say to that.
I'm sure that Nikki's there. I'm sure that Nikki's there. Go out, speak to people. There are also Nikki's in your own world. Alina, do you want to share about your Nikki, your Hannah?
I do networking every single Friday morning at 7 o'clock. The room is probably 80% full of trades. Men, we've got solicitors as well, we've got HRs, we've got all sorts, we've got will writers. So they're all different people in one room. We've got about 30 people. And I just got a client the other week, and it's a man. It's not Hannah, but it's got similar pain to Hannah. It's very, very, we have so much in common in terms when it comes to the pain, comes to we feel lost with some of the men. I'm surprised, but yeah, it's go out, talk about it, because the more you talk about it as well, you've got more confidence and you get more clarity as well. And like Anna says, if you don't do it, you're not going to get the clarity and you're not going to get confidence. And the more and more you do it, it's, I don't know, it's something inside you that ignites and develops. You cultivate so many little things.
Yeah,
it's just amazing. Go out, talk about it, say it out loud. I'm a coach, I'm a personal growth coach, and people are starting to say, oh, what's that, what's this, how did you get into it? And then you start telling your story, and that's how you make it work.
Thank you, Alina.
My pleasure.
I would say Fumi and Patricia and Irma, the first thing is, to Irma's point, the first thing is to know who she is or who he is or who they are. And then once you do, speak. And please don't think, oh, Nikki, whoever that is to you, Nikki's not here. A couple of months ago, my husband invited a friend of his home for dinner. And this guy is head of YouTube for Africa. And we're talking about my business. And he said, you do YouTube shorts? No, he didn't. He said, are you on TikTok? And I said, no, because my clients aren't on TikTok. He said to me, your clients are everywhere. Your clients are everywhere. If you said you don't want to focus on TikTok, I get that. But don't say your clients aren't on TikTok. Your clients are everywhere. Your clients are everywhere. But you need to speak about it. I have had people reach out to me because my sister-in-law mentioned my book and they went and got my book. But here's another thing for me. There's a season to sow and there's a season to reap, but we don't do both in the same season. What does that mean? I can meet you today. It can take me 5 years to sign up with you. It's a journey. It's not instant. But sometimes we lose faith in the journey. We lose hope in the journey and we give up. We give up when we're 6 feet. Who's read Think and Grow Rich, 6 feet from gold. And the thing is, you're planting, 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 and all you're doing is planting. You're thinking, when will I reap? But the minute you start to reap, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, you can't stop reaping.
Floods in.
It's like an
in.
avalanche.
Mm.
But it takes time. But I would say get into communities. Obviously learn and keep learning. Keep learning. It's important to keep learning because people also want to see your growth. And don't give up and talk about it. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about how you help people. Not so much the process. Don't talk about your 8-week program. Talk about how you help couples who are going through divorce or going through marital strife, or however you phrase it, to blah, blah, blah. Talk about the end result that your person is looking for. And a seed is planted every single time. You get more confident and they're planting the seed.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. Any more questions, ladies?
Thank you so much, Shanae.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I think you need to drop off, Irma, but before we all go, let me share a couple of things, please. I'm going to be doing another one of these on how to create a masterclass specifically. Adi, I think you asked that question. Is that still something of interest to you? Yeah, how to host a masterclass specifically. I have a lot of content on that. Alina, you asked about storytelling. Is there anybody here who would like to know any more about storytelling? Who would welcome storytelling? Ade, Irma, Nisha. Okay, all right. Oh, for me. Okay, so we'll do storytelling. And then if there's anything else,
Add me to as well, NA.
Hey, Alpha Shirley. Storytelling is so is so important. All right, Alpha Shirley. When I set up the date, I'll be sure to let you know. Yeah, I'll be sure to let you know. But please don't sleep on storytelling. Please don't sleep on storytelling. Everybody speaks in stories these days, and it's the way to connect emotionally. And when you connect, to your point, for me, when you connect with her through your story, it's your story that actually does this business for you.
Them in.
It's your story. It's your story.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ladies, what was the value of this? Before you go, what was the value of this? What was the value?
It was everything.
Priceless.
No, give me something more tangible than that, please. Give me something I can take away. Thank you, Irma.
It was everything.
It was everything.
It was everything. No, because what I mean by that is it was very holistic, because you touched on, how to do a live event, how to cost it, what to charge, and now we've even gone on to the avatar, the people we want to attract. So it was everything, one needs to know to be able to put or to be able to develop the confidence to present a live class or a live event. So I think it was everything.
Cool. Thank you.
I think for me, you clarified, and I'm putting it in boxes because that's how I work. So I'm gonna separate the event, tick, 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 and the experience, this. And I think now I've got boxes for each one.
Yeah.
And 7 pages.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. It was great.
Yeah.
And it made me think. I picked up on a few things. So
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. If you've been able to think, then that is really great, because ladies, there's no one size fits all. Just try it. The thing is just to try it. Try it and find out what works for you and what you like. But here's the thing. Make sure you create something you like, that you want to attend, that you should be your first client. Be your first client. I love what Patricia said. Thank you, Nisha. Patricia said, one of my takeaways is the evolving avatar. She's not static. Patricia, if only I could tell you how much Ade talks about how she gets clarity every time. I think Ade thinks that she's the only one in that box. You have no idea how much I have also struggled with the lack of clarity. And my avatar is still moving. I will actually share my avatar up until I had to speak to Lisa about this because it caused me so much stress. Because my avatar was the lady who walked out of that meeting room that didn't know what she wanted to do with her life. But now I'm speaking to you ladies who are already on the journey. We're talking about avatars and creating events. And I tore my hair out about this, that who is my avatar? Is she the lady who's doing events? Or is she that lady that walked out of the meeting? It was Lisa that said to me, 3 years ago, she walked out of a meeting. She's not still in that meeting. She's not creating events. Right? Oh, wow. She's evolved. Oh, she's evolved. So nothing is static. But here's the thing, if we don't move, if we wait on the side until we get clarity, we will never jump. We will never move. The way to move forward is by moving forward, and clarity comes as you go on the journey.
Yeah, that's very true, because that's what I've learned, because I've noticed that every time I looked at myself when I put my message up on Instagram, oh my gosh, it's changed again, and it just keeps changing and changing and changing all the time. But I'm not really bothered until I get it right. We will continue to change.
That's it. Jumoke puts startup point is who is your client? Everything else emanates from there. Jumoke, if only I'm sure you know that a truer word has never been said. Thank you for sharing that. Who is your client? Everything. Your client is this. Here's your client, and everything comes off that. So even what kind of event do I want to create? But what does she want? What kind of event does this person want? What book does she read? This is just my fist. I'm using to represent the avatar, right? Just my fist, right? But everything. What kind of event does she want? What kind of retreat does she want? What kind of conference does she want? What's her price point? What kind of community does she want? And speak to her and only her. But I can talk for 2 hours about this. This will be my final point. My final point, I promise you. Does it mean that you can only talk to that one person? No. No. You can talk to many more. Alina's avatar is Hannah. Alina's client is a man. Right? No, you can talk to more than just that person. But here's the thing. That person is a non-negotiable. Everybody else is a nice to have. That person is a must-have. So Fumi is as close to Nikki as can be. Fumi is as close to my Nikki. If I'm looking for somebody else and I miss Fumi, with all due respect, I've failed. If I get Fumi and I get somebody else, that's good, but Fumi is a non-negotiable. Does that make sense? So it's not that you can't serve other people, but you should be looking for your Nikki, and then you find that you attract others. But the others are nice to have. They're not must-haves. You have to leave now, Miss Irma. All right, we all have to leave now. See you soon. Take care. Thank you.
Anna, before you go, Anna, before you go,
I'm not going. I'm here. Bye, Irma. Bye, Irma.
Okay.
Bye, Irma.
I'm here for me. I'm here
Bye,
for you.
Lena.
Bye, everyone.
My family, and
Bye,
I thank you
Patricia.
all. And allow.
Fumi, I'm here.
Yeah. I just wanted to talk to you personally, one-on-one, or should we do it after? Yeah.
No.
Right,
Stay on.
I'll let
Stay
you
on.
go,
Stay on.
ladies. Thank
All
you,
right.
Renee. Thank you.
Thank
Love you
you.
all.
Any more for anyone? Any quick last thoughts?
Yeah.
First, okay.
Any where do you find suppliers? Because a lot of things that you want to get like as gifts, as merchandise or branding, it can cost quite a bit. So where would you start to look into, like, would you just go into straight warehouses and get and speak to them and say, look, I want 200 of this, how much is your cost per unit?
Yeah. So I have never held an event where I've needed 200 of anything. Unfortunately, the maximum I need is about 12. And that's with me having one.
Not yet, Anna, not yet, but the time is coming that you will.
Amen. So the way I do it, as I said, I always start with what I am my first client. What would I want? What would I want? Right? What kind of gift do I want to receive? So I actually buy for myself. And I just buy 11 more. I actually do. I buy for me and I buy 11 more. And I like that. I like that. Give me 12. I'm serious. But seriously, Nisha, I love stationery. I love stationery. The ladies who've come to my events have all received some kind of beautiful stationery in one form or another. I literally just buy for myself and I buy 11 more. I say that tongue in cheek, but it's actually true. I just buy 12 of what I want.
But you know, like, and thank you so much, Innie, but when you are looking at pricing items, I want to go to the higher, I mean, depending on what your budget is. So if you're starting out, like, this is my first big, huge event, I've got 200 to buy, and I'm looking, I don't want to be buying at 3 pounds. I want to be buying at pennies.
Okay. So what do you want to give? That's the first thing. What do you want to give? Because you also don't want to give them, I totally understand about keeping an eye on the budget. I totally get that, totally. I urge you to also consider, please don't give gifts that people are going to go home and put straight in the bin, because that's so expensive and a waste of money, right? So what do you want to give? Do you want to give pens, stationery? What I suggest you do is literally Google swag bag. Just Google swag bag. What can you give in a swag bag? I can put you in touch with people. Thanks, Alina. Thanks, my darling. See you later. Bye-bye. I can send you links to people on Instagram who do like bags. You can, like, a bag, and then you can throw things into the bag.
Yeah.
So I would Google, first of all, swag bag, and just get an idea of the kind of things that you would want to put in the bag. A pen, a notepad, a clapper, whatever, mints, chocolates, a water bottle, I don't know. But and then when you have an idea, I will send you happily on Instagram links to people that I know do stuff like that, and you can also get them branded.
I have a list of things that I want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of things do you want, like a water bottle or?
No, they can bring their own water bottles. I mean, I mean, look, if they come to the smaller events, I'll kit them out. But right now it's like, yeah. So I'm looking at probably A5 notepads, a good quality pen, looking at a tote bag or some kind of fabric bag, because I'm not into plastic. Yeah, and then maybe like one of those key you put into a trolley things, one of those things. So use that. So maybe a stress like
maybe
that.
A stress ball. I don't know about the key or the stress ball. I can help you out in terms of the stationery, and I can help you out in terms of the tote bags. I'll send you links. I can't promise it'll be tonight. I'm expecting a dog now. But I'll send you links. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll send you links tomorrow, Nisha. Happily.
Thank you so much.
No, for nothing. Listen, this is a community. We're here for a reason, to support each other. Ade.
I wanted to ask you, you know, when you do your stationery and things like that, how do you go about it?
So I've got a beautiful shop. It's a small shop that I use, and they do small orders. because like I was saying to Nisha, I don't have, you know, I can't place orders for 200 at this stage. I mean, I could, but I don't want to fill up my house with things for the future. So they do, they actually do individual, it's actually a shop that sells to individuals, but I just simply order however many I need. And they do beautiful, you've seen the stationery I order. They're beautiful, beautiful stationery, Ade. And that's what I'm going to, that's one of the links I'm going to share with Nisha. I can share that in the group as well to anyone who wants it. It's not,
Yeah,
it's,
I'm
not
interested.
it's a
It's
shop.
really
We're looking
beautiful,
for
Ade.
business. Yeah,
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 it's very beautiful.
yeah.
And I can see that you are really catering for yourself.
Yeah.
You like that intimacy, you like that one-to-one, so you keep it at 12.
I'm my own
You
first
know?
client, and I have no
I
shame
know.
in that. And yeah.
Well, there's someone for everyone, right?
There's someone for exactly,
Yeah,
for me, exactly. There's someone for everyone. Yeah, ladies, I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to Shirley, thank you so much, my darling, and I will definitely let you know when my next masterclass is. It'll be in the next 3 weeks, and I'll let you know. Okay, my love. Thank you for coming.
Sounds wonderful.
Jumoke, we didn't see your face, but I hope you got some value. Thank you for contributing. No, thank you. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you, and thank you
but,
so
and
much.
I don't go yet. Don't go yet.
I know, I'm here. I know.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
not going anywhere.
Sure. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Goodbye.
bye, Ade.
Bye.
Mhm.
Hello. Thank you for saying. It's a very, very, very quick question.
No, stop.
The global women
Hold
group.
on.